got the van running, gave my jumper pack a full charge. I gotta check engine light, which isn't good, but at least it's running. Charge the battery for a good amount and at least try to get it to the mechanic. So I need a emissions test and probably drain some oil and find out what that light's for and if the electrical connections are all up to speed. I feel like they're not, but that's why I bring it there, so someone who's a professional can look at it. I let it run for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then I tried to shift it into reverse and it wouldn't move. What I looked up online is that is often a sign of low transmission fluid, and I do have a check gauges sign, so there's a good chance that my transmission fluid's low. When you check that, you're supposed to leave the engine running so the fluid gets warm and check it when it's warm. I think there's levels on the stick for cold and hot, like if your car's not running and the fluid's cold, but you're supposed to check it when it's the car's running and the fluid's warm or hot. So I'm going to check it. I'm going to see if it's low. If I can tell, if I can't really tell, or it doesn't seem like that's it, then I don't know. I think I'm just going to get it towed or get a mechanic out here. But if I can put transmission fluid in it, and it seems like it's low, and then it shifts into gear after that, then I'm going to use that and just drive it a little bit and see if it's good, and I don't know, see if it fixes the check engine and check gauges signal, and just kind of feel out the vehicle if I can actually move it. I checked my transmission fluid after I let it run for a little bit, so it's hard to tell because it was just a little low. I let it run for like 10 minutes, and that fluid expands when it gets warm, so it is hard to tell if it's actually the issue or not. I'm gonna put a little bit of transmission fluid in, check it a little bit, and it was making these weird gargly sounds. If it's not the transmission fluid, it's probably an electrical spark plug kind of an issue, maybe. From when I blew out the DC circuit, which there's a good chance of that too. I don't know. It's either electrical transmission fluid or who the fuck knows. But between those two, there's only two things I can identify right now that could be the issue. But I don't know. I'm gonna work with the transmission fluid first, see if that helps it, if I put a little in because it seems a little low, and just take it one step at a time. Transmission fluid, see if a little bit helps, and it's not that, it's an electrical issue, and that's not something that I'm going to mess with, and then I'm going to let a mechanic look at it. But I don't know, I'm going to see if I can find some transmission fluid and buy it and add a little bit. Just double check the transmission fluid. It's pretty normal reading. I don't think it's the fluid at all. I think it's an electrical issue. So I'm gonna have to have a mechanic look at it. Probably when I blew out my DC circuit, the system between the alternator and the battery isn't running appropriately, and I drove it like that for probably like a week once the DC circuit blew. So over time, it probably just unsustainable system just collapsed on itself, and now whatever happened when the DC circuit blew, that has to be fixed so the system can run right. I don't know. Who knows? That's what I think. At least right now. I was thinking about how all the people in my life, over the last 3 years, 5 years, how did I get left out of so many conversations? How does that happen? How does that happen in a group of people, in a social environment? From a psychological standpoint, why does that happen? I know why it happens, and it's a good thing and it's a bad. I mean, it's obviously a bad thing because it led me to this point where people didn't want to have conversations with me, didn't trust me, didn't want to talk to me. My intelligence intimidates the fuck out of people. It intimidates people. There's no getting around it. And what people like to do is, I'm often very creative, I'm very blunt because I'm autistic. Their solution to things, when I come up with great solutions, when I solve things, they always want to hold on to my mistakes. Again, my intelligence, remember my intelligence, very intimidating to people. And their solution to things, when things go wrong, when things don't go right, or when they just want to point the finger at me, when I have nothing to do with certain things, they just want to write me off as a lunatic. And you just cut those people off and you move on, because it's never, ever going to be good for you. And if I'm going to be a lunatic, I'm going to make money from my channels. I'm going to try to help the world in ways that I can, whether it's, informative stuff, whether that's donating to charities from the money that my channels generate, whatever, or physically being an active member in certain, sustainability, homelessness, whatever, where I see fit, areas I see fit. And other than that, keep to myself, maybe have a tiny house in a few locations, have a dog, play video games, read books, educate myself, learn about the world, whether that's from an outside environment or travel from an internal environment, and, dealing with people as little as possible. People suck. They're hypocritical. They fucking lie. They manipulate. They're selfish. They're terrible. Overall, terrible. There's good people once in a while. Sometimes, shitty people do good things sometimes. But overall, my assumption and my conclusion to people being on this world for about 31 years is people are shitty. They suck. Maybe they were better like 100 years ago, before we had so much fucking commercial marketing and fucking people competing against each other and comparing one another on social media. Maybe people were a lot better 100 years ago. But today, in this society, in this world, people suck. By my definition, use your own definition. That's from my own personal experience. But if I'm going to be a lunatic by myself, keeping myself, playing video games, reading material to educate myself, learn about the world, entertainment, whatever form of media I choose to entertain myself throughout the rest of my life. Like I said, probably get a dog, have a couple tiny houses in a few locations. I have a beautiful spot in Colorado, one of the most beautiful locations in the entire world, probably, thanks to my grandfather, who I never got to meet. Wish I did. Hopefully he was had a little bit more judgment than my father, or better judgment than my father, who I think has terrible judgment and, doesn't trust me for his own personal reasons, because I don't think he can trust himself. And I think my family, other members of my family, have had a similar problem where they can't trust themselves, and that's why they can't trust me. That's their own problem, not mine. I didn't give them a reason not to trust me. Other than smoke weed in the house a few times after I was told not to. That's the one thing I did that I regret doing, that parents were older, and I was in college, I wasn't around them all the time, and I was doing things that they thought I was this little loser fucking pussy. But I went to college, I smoked weed, I fucking met a lot of beautiful women, went out to bars and clubs a lot, and knew my capabilities pretty much to a T, where I'd walk out of an exam and I can't think of more than 2% of exams that I took throughout my entire 5.5 undergraduate, graduate career where I didn't know what I got in an exam when I walked out of it within 5 to 10 points. I don't know anybody else like that. I don't know anybody else who knew what they got in an exam when they walked out of it within a 5 to 10 point range on 98% of their exams throughout college. But I did that. When was that accurate? Maybe 95% to 5%, maybe. But if I didn't know how I did an exam, it was very, very rare. I knew if I killed it. I knew if I did okay. I knew if I did shitty. And I was always within a 5 to 10 point range. People probably thought I was the first person in class, sat in the front, last person, sat in the back, drew cartoons. That's who I am. Your assumption, your judgment, your idea of boxing somebody in a stereotypical kind of a way, that's your own shitty judgment. Keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear about it. But yeah, if I'm gonna be a lunatic by myself, keeping to myself, avoiding people are gonna be real normal, sane people in their social groups, manipulating each other, hypocritical, fucking, being selfish, using people in their circles to get what they want from time to time, and then, making up, and then fucking, keeping some of their friends, not keeping friends, just acting. I guess that's the sane way to act. I'll be a lunatic over in my circle. That's fine. I don't care. That's part of the reason I ran into so much bullshit at my job, is 'cause I kept my, my personal life and my work life separate. I felt like my party life was very distasteful to women, just going out and meeting different women, multiple women in 1 week sometimes. And like, I didn't try to do that at first. Like, the dating apps, the way women kind of became having all this power with dating apps and fucking the ease of fucking, I can just meet a new guy every day. That's how women are, the more attractive ones. And like, that turned me into an asshole, because I was like always perceived as this nice financial rescuer, can introduce him to your parents, he's a nice beta pussy fucking male. I'm not. I look like it. I work really hard, I'm motivated, highly confident. I'd be a sigma male according to most psychological definitions, or definitions of psychology, fortunately. And when I worked my job and I kept to myself and I was quiet, I was dubbed as this beta male, even to the point where I'm not even, not attracted to women, but somehow, because I don't know, I'm attracted to dudes somehow because I'm a loser and I don't want to eat with my coworkers, and I have poor social skills and I can't make eye contact sometimes, and it always has to do with fucking sex. It always has to do with people always think about you is right, and just dealing with fucking bullshit in a work environment. And like I said, started from not talking to them, not interacting with them, and then they just kept fucking, they were irritating me, and they kept going with it because they didn't want me to work there anymore. But once I talk to a therapist, I'll lay out everything for a book, and we'll get a book going, we'll get a biography going, because my story it's a very unique one. I think it's very important for people to know. My story is very important because of how few people listen to me, the situation I dealt with at my job was so ridiculous that people didn't want to believe it. And that's why it's a book that has to be a part of my biography, has to be a part of, ultimately, I've lived a very interesting life, being made fun of and growing at a slower pace to the beginning of my elementary school days, and being picked on a lot, and then like overcoming that and like harnessing my willpower and my force and my like thought energy, and like working out in a basement for a while and fucking for like a few years, 2 to 3 years. And I literally harnessed my thought energy and my attraction to women. And what I did was, when I worked out for that much time and I worked out that intensely, I built like a charm in myself where everywhere I looked, man, I had like the confidence, the charm, the willpower, and everywhere I looked, I just got great reactions from women. And I became accustomed to that for since the end of high school, through college, through until I started working as like a machine, as an engineer. And I wasn't like working out as much. I wasn't like using social skills as much. And when that started to fade and society's bullshit started to take over, between like dating younger girls using the dating apps, me getting like depressed over like girls treating me like shit, and then like just working a job every day and like fucking working hard, and you telling people about your job who like fucking people can't relate to it. They just like, I don't understand it. You do what you do, whatever. And like, you just become this like nerdy engineer, like, and you work every day, but like, that's not who you are. And you just get like boxed into this state because of your like job and what you do every day. And like, not even what you do every day in your job. I mean, it changed me. It like took away social skills. It made me see people less, because I was working a lot. I was working after work. I was working, on the weekends and stuff. And like, a huge thing with my family was like, my sister had her fucking like special fucking, her house built, her fucking husband built it, douchebag. And his brothers would come over and help him fucking work on it. And I would work my job, and then I would work 5 hours on a weekend. And then when his brothers would come over, I guess I was supposed to come over and fucking help them all work on it. And, between that and between them just, like, bossing me around more and more and, like, not treating me as a peer, which, at that point, that's how I saw myself. Whatever, the way they saw me, I guess, was different. And I started to spend less and less time with them. Like, he didn't, like, care that I had fucking work after work, that I worked for 5 hours. If I'm on my computer, I'm not doing work to people. That's not fucking work. Sometimes that's the hardest work that drains the most energy out of you. The work I've done over a fucking computer without fucking moving for hours. Just thinking. Just using my brain. And, like, didn't fucking acknowledge that I was working overtime at my job or anything, because I was in my apartment. I was smoking weed and being a fucking loser. That's what I was doing. Probably if you were to ask them. So when I didn't help them with their fucking house, and I did go to fucking help them, build stuff one time, they just bossed me around, treat me like this little fucking pussy bitch. Yeah, dude, I totally want to come over and be treated like a pussy bitch when I get out of work. Totally. And then I didn't help them. I didn't help them at all. And me just reading them in time and just, like, reacting instantly, don't take me for that level of intelligence, for those people skills. But that's what I have. Those are the people skills I have. I can read people on the spot and say fuck you by not talking to you, by not interacting with you. That's how I operate. I don't fucking tell you. I'll tell you if you're a douchebag to your face, but I'm not going to do it if I don't have to. I'm just not going to fucking interact with you. And he got all bitter that I didn't help him with his fucking house. And then his dad heard shit at my job. And then his dad fucking said shit around. And then their family had to cover it up and fucking, whatever, like, protect their fucking family's reputation, because God forbid what would happen between them and my family. And then what happened was, basically, ultimately, was my family decided that their spouses, their connections, and, like, what could have possibly happened to me, like, really happened to me, and people just fucking being fucking shitty people and, like, making fun of me and then lying about me, which is what happened. They didn't want to fucking acknowledge that, because if they acknowledged that, they would have to acknowledge that the people that they chose in life were shitty fucking scummy people, and they're selfish, and they decided to choose that instead of fucking choosing family. And they basically said fuck you to me, and they said, like, it's just too much hassle, too many problems for your shit, whatever. We're just it's easier for us to listen to other people. That's basically what they said. And they said, fuck you. And I said, okay, you're not my fucking family. Get the fuck over it. And ever since then, they've been like, most likely. I don't know, because I haven't talked to them, but you're yourself to fucking blame for it. You're your own fucking person to blame for it. Wipe your fucking tears up. When my mom wanted to listen to fucking people about who I was instead of listening to me, that broke my fucking heart. That broke my heart after all the fucking women who broke my fucking heart, like, throughout my life. All the fucking girls I liked throughout high school, throughout college, fucking just saw me as some pussy fucking loser, or whatever, like, unorthodox person, whatever reason they didn't like me. All those girls who broke my heart throughout my life, and my mom fucking broke my heart because she fucking, and my mom listened to other fucking people because they kept fucking hacking at her over time, manipulating my sisters, and my sisters manipulate my fucking parents. And yeah, that broke my fucking heart. And I had to get over it. So you can fucking get over your shit too. If I got over my shit, you don't see fucking tears on this face. Just meditated a little bit. I was running stuff on my phones, running content on my phones. So I take breaks, working, gaming. I was thinking about some red flags I noticed in my sister's judgment when I was younger. And they're pretty clear. We went camping in Vermont a lot. We went once a year for like 5 to 10 years when I was younger. And they always did their own shit, and I always did my own shit. And it was just me running around, playing arcade games, doing events with all the kids, and just playing sports. And just between being inside and outside, playing games, playing outside. And they, like, ran around, did probably stupid things, chased boys, and fucking, like, I don't even know. I don't know what they did, because we didn't spend time together, so they didn't get a chance to see how cool, how athletic, and how intelligent I was as a youngster. Unfortunately, because we didn't spend much time together when, you know, when we went camping, when we did a lot of stuff as I got older. But the red flag I noticed was there was a family that my parents were friends with, you know, the parents of that family, and they had 2 kids. They had a sister who was older and a brother who was around my age. Maybe he was a little older, maybe he was a little younger, I can't remember, but he was around my age. And the daughter was between his age and my sister's age, and she was a little bit older. She was hot. She wanted nothing to do with me. I was younger, underdeveloped, weenie with glasses. Maybe if she saw me play some sports, she would have thought differently, but I was a lot younger. The kid, he was like this annoying fucking, like, thought he was like hot shit, thought he was cool, did like stupid shit, all got in trouble, super annoying because he thought he was fucking like the coolest kid in the world. Fucking hated hanging around him. The only reason we spent time with him was because my sisters thought he was cool and liked him. He was a complete fucking loser, complete bonehead. And that right there, I was like, why do my sisters like this kid? Because he has confidence in himself and he just goes around does stupid shit all the time? 100%. Sisters like that kid, and I couldn't figure out why. Fast forward to today, the people they chose in life, it all makes sense. It all fucking makes sense. Chose losers. I have sisters with terrible fucking judgment. Gullible boneheads. And I don't know what happened between the time my youngest sister was born and I was born. I know I spent a lot of time in my mother's womb sucking up fluids. Babies usually, you know, that's a lot of nutrients baby takes in when they're inside the womb for a long time, and I was in the womb for a lot, and I was just sucking up juices. And my sisters must have left theirs behind, and I must have scooped them up before I got popped out of the womb, and here we are today.